Let me ask you something very simple and very honest. Why is it that the moment you finally lie down, the room is quiet, your phone is away, your body is tired, your brain suddenly decides it's time to think? You replay conversations, you plan tomorrow, you remember things from 10 years ago that don't matter anymore, and the harder you try to sleep, the more awake you feel. If that sounds familiar, you're not broken, and you're definitely not alone. Tonight, I want to take you inside the brain at night and explain why sleep feels so hard for so many people, what's really happening biologically, and how small changes can bring rest back without pressure, fear, or guilt. Before we continue, if you appreciate calm, science-based health conversations like this, take a second to like the video, subscribe, and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I always love seeing how far these conversations travel. Alright, let's slow this down together. Here's the first truth most people get wrong about sleep. If you can't sleep, it doesn't mean your body doesn't need sleep, and it doesn't mean your mind is too active. Most of the time, it means your brain doesn't feel safe enough to let go yet. Sleep is not something you force, it's something your nervous system allows. At night, your brain is supposed to shift from alert mode into rest mode. The problem is, modern life keeps that switch half on. And once you understand that, everything starts to make sense. Let me explain what's happening inside your brain when the lights go out. As bedtime approaches, a healthy brain begins reducing cortisol, the stress hormone, and increasing melatonin, the hormone that signals darkness and rest. At the same time, brain regions responsible for vigilance and threat detection are supposed to quiet down. Breathing slows, muscles soften, thoughts lose urgency. But if your brain has spent the entire day overstimulated, stressed, or alert, it doesn't trust that it's safe to power down. So instead of drifting, you hover. Biologically, cortisol stays elevated. Emotionally, your thoughts feel loud. Practically, you lie there exhausted but awake. This is not insomnia caused by weakness. It's insomnia caused by misalignment. Now let's talk about the habits and mistakes that quietly keep the brain awake, often without us realizing it. We'll count them down, because the last one surprises almost everyone. The third mistake is trying too hard to sleep. This sounds strange, but it's real. When you watch the clock, when you calculate how many hours you have left, when you tell yourself, I have to sleep now, your brain hears urgency. Inside the body, this activates the sympathetic nervous system, the same system used for danger and action. Cortisol rises slightly, heart rate stays elevated. Emotionally, this creates pressure. Sleep becomes a test you feel like you're failing. Practically, the bed stops feeling like a place of rest and starts feeling like a place of performance. Sleep doesn't come from effort, it comes from permission. And that leads us to the second mistake. The second mistake is late-night stimulation that feels harmless. Scrolling your phone, watching one more video, even intense conversations or news before bed. Biologically, light, especially blue light, suppresses melatonin. Dopamine stays active. The brain stays in acquisition mode instead of recovery mode. Emotionally, your mind stays engaged with comparison, information, or emotion. Practically, bedtime keeps shifting later, even when you're tired. Your body wants sleep. Your brain is still awake at work. Now here's the biggest one, and the most misunderstood. The first mistake is carrying the entire day into the night. Unprocessed stress, unfinished thoughts, emotional conversations you never resolved. At night, when distractions disappear, the brain finally has space to surface what it didn't get to process earlier. Biologically, the default mode network, the brain's internal reflection system, turns on. If your day was rushed, tense, or overstimulated, this network goes into overdrive. Emotionally, this feels like overthinking. Practically, it feels like your brain won't shut up. But here's the key insight. Your brain isn't sabotaging your sleep. It's asking for closure. So what do we do about it? The solution isn't forcing sleep. It's teaching your nervous system that night is safe. Let's talk about an action plan that actually works, gently. First, create a wind-down signal. Your brain needs a predictable transition from day to night, dim lights, slower movements, calmer sounds. Biologically, this allows melatonin to rise naturally. Emotionally, it tells your brain nothing urgent is happening now. Practically, sleep arrives with less resistance. Second, empty your mind before bed. This can be journaling, making a short list for tomorrow, or even sitting quietly and acknowledging unfinished thoughts. Inside the brain, this reduces cognitive load. Emotionally, it creates relief. Practically, your thoughts lose their grip once you lie down. Third, stop trying to sleep. Instead, aim to rest. Tell yourself, I'm just lying here to rest my body. That single shift reduces pressure, lowers cortisol, and often allows sleep to arrive on its own. Now let me reassure you about something important. Bad nights do not ruin your health. They do not mean something is wrong with you, and they do not mean tomorrow will be a disaster. your body is resilient. Even partial rest helps the brain recover, and when you remove fear from sleep, sleep becomes easier. If you're listening to this late at night, lying in bed frustrated, hear this clearly. You are not failing at sleep. Your brain is simply protecting you the best way it knows how. And protection can be retrained. Sleep returns when safety returns. Calm returns when pressure leaves. And rest comes back when the body trusts the night again. If this helped you understand your sleep in a kinder way, like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone who lies awake wondering what's wrong with them. Small changes bring comfort, understanding brings freedom, and restful nights return one calm step at a time. I'll see you in the next one.